Hi guys, Nikki here from Kennelwood Pet Resorts. So I wanted to do a quick YouTube video here for you guys to watch prior to your lesson. This video will be maybe about 10 minutes or so I'll try to keep it short. But we are required to minimize our lesson times. So they want us to go over material via YouTube videos first, and then whenever we have our lesson this afternoon, I can just get Barkley out and we can actually just start working him. So just minimizing the one-on-one contact. So I'm going to be sending home a packet, just some basics on communication, how his brain works versus how our brains work. We have three primary elements when it comes to training and communicating with our dogs: timing, motivation, and consistency. Now, timing, as it refers to all dogs, is we have about 1.3 seconds to reward for a positive behavior and about 1.3 seconds to correct for a negative behavior. So if it is outside of that window, it is too late to correct or too late to reward. We want to have good timing, that way we can communicate properly with our puppies. For example, people will often say, okay, well, we're working on potty training and we take our puppy outside to go potty and they do their business, and then we bring them back in the house. We have them sit by the treat jar and we give them a treat. So we're rewarding them for going potty outside. And I'll say, no, you're rewarding them for sitting by the treat jar. So if we want to reward them for going outside, we need to go outside with them and take a treat. And as soon as they're finished, we reward in that moment. The same thing goes for negative. The negative portion of it is that if we walk into a room and we find a chewed up shoe or an accident and our puppy is nowhere near it, it's too late to correct. Puppies and all dogs, they do not understand outside of that window. It has nothing to do with their intelligence, but they are very black and white creatures. Either behaviors are okay or they're not okay, and you have to correct or reward in that moment, so within that 1.3 seconds. Our next element is motivation. There are two types, positive and negative. So positive motivation is going to tell him what to do. We are going to use a marker word. The marker word is going to be good. So whenever he does a desired behavior, something we like, we're going to say good, and we're going to follow it up with a treat. If you do not have a treat on hand, saying good and then doing a pet. I highly recommend, though, that during this initial phase, we use lots of high value rewards. So lots of treats, and making sure that we're marking that behavior with good and then giving that reward. On the flip side, we have negative motivation, which is going to tell him what not to do. We're going to use a marker word of no, and we're going to follow it up with a pop on the leash, which I'll show you guys how to do today at our lesson. A lot of times people tend to use a bunch of different words for negative motivation. No means stop the behavior you are doing in this moment right now. So rather than using stop it, get down, don't do that, no bite, just no. Let's keep it, once again, going back to being very clear with our puppies, so keeping it very black and white, that no just means no, and not having 15 other different words. And when we do that, our puppies get confused. So no followed by a little pop on the leash. I'll show you guys how to do that today. Consistency is our last element. We know what that word means. We're going to try to do the same thing all day, every day. I highly recommend that until we have him where you guys want him, anytime he is out and supervised, even inside the house, that you guys leave a leash on him. Just a 5 or 6 foot skinny leash that he can drag around. This way you can be consistent on how you're correcting him. If he's, nipping at the kids or jumping or grabbing something he's not supposed to, we have the leash to say no, we pick it up and give a little pop. If we don't have the leash, we revert back to old behaviors of, pulling him off, grabbing him, and we want to take all of that human emotion out of it. So leave the leash on anytime he's out and supervised with you. That's going to help you be as consistent as possible. And if we are not consistent, our dogs are not going to be consistent. So those are our 3 pillars of training, or our 3 primary elements when it comes to communicating with our puppies. Once again, I'll send this packet home. The second full white page of the packet I'm going to send is leadership rules for pet parents. So some things on here, that I like to highlight. We don't want to do free feeding where we just put a bowl down and leave food down all day. We want to do actual structured meals. The food comes from us. It does not come from the floor. Structured feedings also helps with potty training. And it's also a way to promote leadership for our dogs. We decide where the dog eats. We can even make them sit for their food, and we put the food bowl down and then we release them to their bowl, just to add in another element of leadership. And it's also something great for the kids to do as well. Jumping, nipping, pawing at us, barking at us, all of those pushy behaviors we want to correct. So once again, saying the word no, giving a pop on the leash, and we want to avoid big emotional displays of affection. So whenever, you guys come home, or like, for example, this afternoon, whenever I bring him out, you guys are just going to be seated statues. And if he jumps, I'm going to be saying no, and I'm going to be giving him pops on the leash. Whenever he goes into a calm state of mind, then you guys can reach in and you can pet and you can reward him. So for all arrivals and departures, doesn't matter where you're at, no big emotional displays of affection. And also we want to take the human emotion out of training. So we don't want to raise our voice. We don't need to use body language, to intimidate him or to be dominant. Our voice is going to stay the same. And try not to allow your voice to just escalate. And we tend to do that as humans. That's it's in our nature. It's who we are. A few other things we're going to be working on, going through doorways first. I highly recommend with young puppies that we don't allow them on, our beds, on furniture, under tables, any places that we occupy. We don't want to allow our puppies there, especially right now. Maybe down the road, yes. But what can happen is that in the puppy's mind, they think that, okay, I am at the same level, if not above the humans, because I occupy this space as well. So doing, not allowing those things. Just kind of looking here, a few other things. Limiting freedom with our puppies in the house. So yes, they can be out with us. Yes, we can play with them. Yes, we're going to do commands with them. But also giving them time. If we cannot supervise them, blocking them off, or, putting them in their crate, or today we're going to be working on the climb command, putting them up on climb. Because if we give them too much freedom too soon, then they start to get into trouble because they don't know. They're like young children. They have to have that structure. They need to be told what to do until they start making those good choices on their own. So that is pretty much the lecture. Like I said, I'm going to send home this packet with you guys today. I'll send you guys with some of those, and then I will see you guys this afternoon, and we will actually do the physical part of the lesson. So thanks so much, and I'll see you guys later.